Wow. Okay, everyone, Big Red 310s here again to kind of catch up on some things. I haven't made a review episode in a while, a long while, and I'm here to kind of, catch up on everything. The main things I'm going to cover here are Chikara, PWG, and Ring of Honor. I have other stuff as well. I have other shit to see, like a lot of CCW shows, like 2 Dragon USA shows. I still have to see Hell in a Cell. I've already seen the last 2 TNA pay-per-views before Bound for Glory. I promised I would review those, but for this one, I kind of wanted to devote this whole thing to ROH, Chikara, and PWG because those are the 3 main indies, and those are really the best promotions in the world right now, in my opinion. So, kind of just want to stick to that. Let's get into this very quickly. I'm actually going to start with PWG because that's the stuff I've been really behind on. PWG, before this video, I haven't reviewed a PWG show since Card Subject to Change 3, and that was back in August, I think. Mainly the reason is I think I was low on cash in the summer, and especially when I had to cut back on getting some promotions, I cut back on PWG just because I felt the shows were kind of, I didn't want to say pointless, but it was like, man, it's just, it's just great wrestling, and I can get great wrestling from Ring of Honor and get the great storylines. And Chikara, I can get really good wrestling and get amazing storylines. So what does PWG offer that I can't get from the other 2 companies? And so I thought, let me just put this on the back burner for a little bit. So I didn't order the All-Star Weekend shows from lack of interest, and I heard the shows were amazing, but I just put everything off for a little bit, and then I put off 8 as well. And then finally, when Bola was about to come out, I started getting interested in PWG again because I always liked Bola. So I got the 4 shows once I got the cash, and then right as I finished watching Bola, Rock and Roll Decadence came out, and it took me a while to see that show, but I eventually saw that show. And then right when I finished Rock and Roll Decadence, about 2 days ago, I got Steen Whip in the mail, and I saw the whole show in a day. So we'll talk about PWG. Very quickly, All-Star Weekend I thought was an amazing weekend. In my opinion, it's the best double shot of 2011. ROH Honor Take Center Stage was pretty great, but in my opinion, these 2 shows was a better combination than those 2 shows. This weekend was just incredible. The amount of wrestling was incredible. The amount of fun, especially on night 1. Night 2 had the better wrestling in my opinion, but night 1, the fun factor was ridiculous. Every match was just tons of fun. Tons of fun. So, very quickly, Steen, Willie, Mack, I thought was pretty good. Taylor Boys Dynasty, I thought was pretty good. King Chuck Taylor, I thought was fine. Young Bucks, RockNES Monster, I thought was really, really good. RockNES Monster is my favorite tag team in PWG, as they would show throughout these shows. Cutler Bros, Aries and Strong, I heard was kind of long, but I enjoyed it. I get how some people wouldn't. Edwards and Alex Shelley, I thought was really good. Maybe a little overrated, but still really good. Generico and Ricochet versus Steen and Tozawa was incredible. 3rd best PWG match of the year. Yeah. Claudio Chris Hero was great. I thought the breaking of the top rope actually helped the match. I always think shit like that helps the match. Like this improvised moment, and you have to deal with it. Somehow your match connects more because of it. And I thought this was one of those cases because I thought the match was just, it really played off better with no top rope. And Hero and Claudio did a great job here. So yeah, I really like this match. All-Star Weekend Night 2. Amazing show. One of the best shows of the year in my opinion. Pretty much the same beat of the drum. First match was fine. Second match was really, really good. 3rd match was okay. 4th match was good. 5th match was great. I loved that Eddie Edwards El Generico match. Loved that match. Young Bucks versus Aries and Strong I thought was really, really good. Probably the 3 3/4 star match of the year. Chris Hero, Akira Tozawa I thought was absolutely incredible. I thought it was just as good as their first match. I think the fact that Tozawa was leaving really added a lot to this match. My emotional investment was there. Their first match, as amazing as it kind of was a single occurrence. It was like, oh, it's Bola. Oh, the match is just, it's a Bola match. There's nothing more to it. This match, there was a lot more to it. And while I thought the other match, the wrestling was better, I thought the atmosphere and storyline of this match was better. And so I'd probably put them both on the same level, really. This is my 2nd best PWG match of the year. I thought this was absolutely incredible. And Claudio low-key, I thought was really good. A little overrated, though. A little disappointed by it. But still pretty good. PWG 8, I thought this was a really good show. I think I liked the show more than most people. Every match was just a lot of fun. Steen and Pac I really, really liked. I love this match. This match was super entertaining. Super entertaining. Gatson Taylor was okay. Generico and Ricochet versus Strong and Shelley had a great crowd, and this match was really, really fun as well. Peter Avalon and Ryan Taylor was okay. Peter Avalon, crowd really likes him. Dynasty RockNES Sponsor I thought was really, really good. Both these guys, this match, both 2 months in a row, I thought was very exciting both times. Kevin Steen and Shima versus the Young Bucks was a lot of fun. Claudio and Chris Hero, I really liked this main event. To me, this is how I view the story of this match. To me, it was kind of like someone takes a pipe and beats the shit out of your knee with it, like he completely destroys your knee, moves it in several places by just destroying it with this pipe, and then you have to fight him in a wrestling match, and you just can't do it. It gets to the point where you just can't do it, because in this match, there's very little comeback. Claudio just beats the shit out of Chris's leg for the whole match. Chris does like a 2-minute comeback, and Claudio beats him, because there really is no comeback, and it makes sense because, you know, he's been beating on his leg for 30 minutes. Now, you could look at it the way as I invested 30 minutes of my time into this match and only got 2 minutes in return. No, I view it as it's a great story. I mean, Chris just simply could not do this ridiculous comeback with a million near falls. It just couldn't happen. He tried to go for his rolling kick, but he just couldn't do it. And eventually got to the point where Claudio just beat him because he had been destroying his leg for 30 minutes. I appreciated that. I know a lot of people would not. That's why I've seen some pretty bad reviews of this match, but I really, really liked how this match was paced. Like I said, from what I just said, it just felt like, you know what, it's to a point where you get so hurt you just can't fight back. You can't. And Chris in this match couldn't fight back. As best he tried with all his strikes, he couldn't fight back that much. So this match was really, really good. I actually say this match was better than the opener, but it's really close. And the Claudio Kevin Steen segment was incredible. I give this show 7.75. Look at the ratings. Every match is just a lot of fun. A lot of really good matches on this show. Definitely, I would almost recommend 8. Almost. Probably for $15 I would. For 20 probably not, but it was still a really, really good show. Bola. Okay, I liked Bola, but I was disappointed by it. I know I gave it the same rating as 8, but 8 I had little to no expectations because it was 8. It was it had a house show type feel to it, even though it was an anniversary show. This show I had big expectations going into because it's Bola, and because it was on one night, I thought that would make the show better, and I was disappointed by it, really. I mean, Chris Hero, Willie Mack, in my opinion, was the match of the night. I really like this match. This match, Willie Mack, the storyline of all Willie Mack's matches is not, because he's big, he's a big guy if you've never seen him. It's not that he uses his size, it's more that people treat him as a rookie almost, and these guys who've been in PWG for a long time are just like, taking him to a limit and can't seem to find a way to pin him, and it bothers them. And that's what I liked about this match. Chris so desperately tried to pin Willie Mack. It so desperately bothered him, and he just couldn't pin him. His facials really sold this match over for me. He was just trying, and he just couldn't do it. He kept trying going for near falls, reversals. He did the elbow a bunch of times, and Willie Mack would not kick out, would not go down. And then finally, Chris Hero, out of frustration, went for the rolling elbow, and he kind of took his time to do it, kind of. It was very subtle. And in that split second, Willie Mack gave him a backslide for the pin out of nowhere. I love that finish. It was like, you know, he tried so hard to get the pin, and because he took just a second too long just to make sure he got the pin, Willie Mack surprised him with something he didn't expect and pinned him. That was a very good finish, in my opinion. Maybe not a lot of people... I know a lot of people don't like roll-up finishes, but in my opinion, when a match is at a really high pace, and guys are hitting near falls if they're near falls, in my opinion, you can hit a roll fall out of nowhere and it works because you're such a high pace, the roll up kind of neutralizes him in a way. You don't really see it coming, and in the stun of the moment, you don't have enough time to kick out. And that's why I think they work in these high paced matches. So this match was really good. Kevin Steen Finley I liked, had a great story to it, was really good. Claudio Generico to me was a little disappointing. I know a lot of people really like this. I mean, I thought it was really good. I thought the last 6 minutes of it were really, really, really high energy. But I don't know. That's all it was to me. I mean, I don't know. I mean, I saw it and I was like, okay, the match was pretty good. Moving on. I know a lot of people, some people have told me that this match was drop down incredible. I've heard some ridiculous appraisal from people. But in my opinion, you know, it was good. It's just nothing. It was really good, actually. But I don't know. I can't go higher. To me, this is the most I could give it, in my opinion. All right. So next was what was next? Jesus. Anyway, with Roderick Strong. I was a little disappointed with this match. I'm not gonna lie. It was, you know, it was good, I guess. You know, it was too indie. This is the match that guys like AMC and One and Daniel Talks Pro Wrestling, this is the match they probably would hate. And it really is. It's just a bunch of moves. There was no really consistent selling. There was no setting of points. It was just guys doing a million near falls on each other. And they just did it one after the other for 20 minutes. There was no real flow to it. You can't get into the match. Like, I know Instant Classic 8 wrote on his Twitter that he couldn't get into this match, and I can understand. You can't. I mean, I wouldn't say I didn't get into it. I wouldn't say I was bored, but I was kind of just sitting there watching these men execute near falls for 10 minutes. Because it really is, it's just flashiness. There's really no substance to the match. So, I gave it 3 1/4. I still enjoyed myself enough throughout the match to give it a good rating. Not enough to give it a great rating. RockNES sponsors Dynasty. Just as good as the match as their previous month's match. I can't remember if this is the match where Scorpio Sky hit the roll-up on, I think, Johnny Goodtime out of nowhere that I thought really worked, but whatever. Generico Willie Mack was fun. Willie Mack's facials, by the way, are insane. He sells them like, I'm one angry black guy and I'm going to kick your ass. Kevin Steen Eddie Edwards was pretty good. I don't know. I saw these shows a little while ago. I don't know what to say. Young Bucks Kings of Wrestling was very disappointing. This match went way too long. Way too long. And, yeah, it was just, I don't know, I expected a lot more. Not too happy with this performance. Kevin Steen Generico I thought was really good. Not as good as the opener, but really good. Again, they exchanged some good near falls, and there's some good crowd brawling, but I don't know, it was just nothing I could really go wow about. So 7.75, a little disappointing. The show was on pace to being amazing. If that main event had been great, I probably would have given this an 8.5. But because it wasn't, it kind of just left me realize the best match was Willie Mack versus Chris Hero. It's Bola. When a company is as match quality driven as PWG is, I think all their shows need to have a great match. I think that's a must because they're so match quality driven. And when it doesn't, I get very disappointed. I mean, with 8, I was okay with it just because I think they tried in every single match to do as best as they can, but they had some limitations, and they lost Davey Richards. You know, they had some bad luck on that show. On this show, in my opinion, there was no excuse. On this show, in my opinion, there was no great match, and that's not a good thing. So I give it a 7.75. It's still a good show. I wouldn't recommend it, though. I would recommend, in fact, in my opinion, this is my least favorite Bola, actually. I love Bola every year. I haven't seen all of them. I still haven't seen 07 and 08, but this was my least favorite Bola. The Perils of Rock and Roll Decadence. Worst PWG show of the year. Not a bad thing. The show was still fun, but same reason as Bola. When there's, in my opinion, because of PWG, they must have a great show every month, a great match every show. And when it doesn't, I get disappointed. And in my opinion, this one had 2 matches that were close, but not quite there. I really, really liked the main event. I really, really liked Kevin Steen versus Davey Richards. That was really enjoyable. I thought what they were trying to tell made the match come off really fun. The back and forth in that match worked because of the way each man went back and forth on the other. It wasn't too ridiculous. There was no near fall that I was just like, oh, come on. But it worked. The back and forth was enough that I didn't get bored with it. I thought it was consistent and enough, and it worked. So this match was really good. Young Bucks Dynasty, I thought the back and forth went a little too long, but it was still really, really, really enjoyable. Generico, Rocky Romero was fun. Eddie Edwards, TJ Perkins. I love this finish. Oh my god. The finishing sequence is Eddie Edwards and TJ Perkins exchange holds for like a minute. They go back and forth, rolling up each other, stuff like that. And finally, out of nowhere, TJ Perkins lands an armbar. And just when he thinks Eddie's about to tap, Eddie turns his weight over and pins TJ Perkins with almost a bottom schoolboy of sorts. And it really worked. I love that finish. RockNES Monsters vs. Super Smash Bros. Was a lot of fun. Willie Mack Ryan Taylor was okay. Brian Cage Taylor Peter Avalon was okay. 7.5. Again, nothing wrong with it. Good show. But in my opinion, like I said, in PWG, every show has to have a great match. Steen Wolf. Okay. This, my friends, is the show of the year. Yes, I liked it more than Money in the Bank. I'll explain why I did. But look at these ratings. This show is just ridiculous. The show starts off at a cool level and just goes straight up. Haven't really gotten depth in the last few matches. Probably because I saw the shows a while ago, but this show's fresh in my mind, so I'll try to go more in depth as I can. The 6-man was, I know I said I'd go more in depth, but for PWG, these matches are always the same. They're a basic PWG opener, and that's a good thing, trust me. So, 3 stars. Rocky Romero, TJ Perkins. I've heard some bad reviews of this match. I liked it. I enjoyed it. What can I say? Fightin Taylor Boys for RockNES sponsors. This match was really good. Oh my god. The last 3 minutes of this match was just ridiculous. I've never seen the crowd be more into a match involving Brian Cage Taylor, and I like Brian Cage Taylor. The crowd was just super into this. The near falls weren't very long. It was good and concise enough that it worked. The match was short enough that I didn't get bored with it. It was so enjoyable. 3 3/4. Willie Mack versus Davey Richards was another really, really good match. The story here was kind of what I said earlier on how Willie Mack's this new kid on the block who used to be a PWG fan, used to sit in the audience, and now these wrestlers are trying to see if he can hang. And this was kind of similar. Davey Richards, I've said it many times, I love Davey Richards, but there's many times where his matches, when he's the babyface, they just get out of control. He refuses to sell. The match gets too carried away. It's too long, blah, blah, blah. But I've also said when Davey's a heel, his matches can always be really, really good. Because when he's a heel, he knows how to give this impression that he's just beating the living shit out of the guy, that his kicks are stiff as hell, he's angry, he likes doing it. Like, you get that impression when he's a heel. And the babyface, if he's good enough, will make it work to the point that he can make his comeback and get everyone into it. And this match was very similar to that. Davey was just beating the shit out of this poor guy. And then Willie Mack was showing how tough he is, how big he is, how strong he is, taking on Davey Richards. But in the end, the PWG veteran was just smarter. He knew more, and he pinned him. He got the 3 count. And my God, was this match really good. So enjoyable. Why it's not 4 stars, I don't know. I mean, the most I can give it is 3 3/4. That's just my opinion. It was just really, really good. It was really, really fun, though. Great stuff there. The Dynasty versus Los Luchas. This was another really, really good match. The Dynasty have been on a roll, in my opinion, in PWG. They've just put on great performance after great performance after great performance after great performance. And this was no different. This was just so much fun. I thoroughly enjoyed this match. Any negatives? Not really. It was just, it's lower than most of the ratings on the show, but that's just because it was kind of shorter. But it was still really, really fun. I really liked the Dynasty. I thought they've been doing just a really good job in their matches. Even though Los Luchas, not to discredit them, they had a tremendous performance as well. Ricochet versus Chuck Taylor. Okay, when I saw this match was the third from the top, I was like, this can probably be really good. Because Ricochet and Chuck Taylor have just had so many matches. And I was like, they can't possibly have a great match that I can get really into because I've just seen them wrestle so many times. Holy shit, was I wrong? This match was fucking great. Fucking great. I almost gave it 4 1/4. Great. In my opinion, this was better than the tag match. Very controversial statement there, but this match was just insane. Chuck Taylor was just trying to ground Ricochet, working over him so that when Ricochet hit his high spots, the crowd can get into it, and it worked. And the psychology was great. But what really makes this match great is the last 3 minutes, because this is exactly what match structure, climax, and peak should be. The way they worked this match, the last 3 minutes, it just got better and better and better. Ricochet hits a moonsault for a big near fall. Chuck Taylor kicks out. Chuck Taylor hits the sick kick. Ricochet kicks out. Then Ricochet escalates his offense with a shooting star press. And Chuck Taylor kicks out. Then Chuck Taylor kicks him and hits the awful waffle. And Ricochet kicks out. And Chuck Taylor, his facials was great. It's like those Jake Roberts facials where he would be just like, God damn it. I hit my finisher. He kicked out. What is it going to take? God damn it. I'm so mad. Fuck. He had visuals like that. God, oh my God, why? Well, why can't I put this guy down? I hit my finisher. What's next? And then he takes out the grenade, which I know some people might think, oh, that's a joke gimmick. He did it in PWG in a really serious match. That kills the match. Not in my opinion. To me, I treated it like this. The Chuck Taylor character had done all he could to Ricochet, and his mental imbalance proceeded him to bring out the fake grenade and see if that would work. Just because he's an idiot. Because he's Chuck Taylor. He's a goofy character if you watch any of PWG and Chikara. Then he thought this would work. Because he's naturally a silly character. If Ricochet were to do that to Chuck Taylor, that would be stupid. But because Chuck Taylor's naturally a silly character, I thought it was fine. So anyways, moonsault by Ricochet, sick kick by Chuck Taylor, shooting star press, which got a huge pop by Ricochet, awful by Chuck Taylor, and then it finally ends with with Ricochet hitting the 630 splash, and it ends at an absolute peak. This is the definition of how to peak in a match. They completely peaked with the finish, with Ricochet hitting a 630 and getting the win. It was just insane. The way the big spots built up and built up and built up to the finish. It worked really, really well. This match was awesome. Like I said, so close to giving this 4.25. So close. Maybe if this was the first Ricochet Chuck Taylor match I ever saw, maybe I would probably give it 4.25. But because, like I said, I've seen them so many times that it's like, what more can they do? But this was a great match. Second best match in the show, in my opinion. Next, we got Young Bucks versus Cole and O'Reilly. This match was great. I know I've seen some reviews. Like, I saw one guy give it 4.5. I think Trademark gave it 4.5. A lot of people have given it 4.5. I don't know. I thought it was great. Don't get me wrong, but I really don't know. It was a great exchange of near falls. They almost worked over O'Reilly's leg, and he wasn't really selling it. But in my opinion, I've held this opinion for a long time. I don't know if AMC and 1 would agree or not, but in my opinion, you shouldn't sell your leg like that in every match. If a guy works over your legs for 5 minutes, and there's 2 minutes of near falls that follow, in my opinion, you shouldn't sell your leg. In my opinion, he did not work on your leg long enough for you to have enough damage to slow down your offense. That's how I view it. And in this match, I mean, it really is up to personal opinion. In my opinion, because Kyle O'Reilly's such a tough guy, because of how strong his legs are, they're only working over his leg for like 6 minutes, however long it was. In my opinion, that's not enough. I don't think you can just assume. I think you have to take into account the person's character and his strengthness and toughness ability. In my opinion, there comes to a point where you can't just... There has to be a point where you don't just automatically sell. Where it's like, you know what? You didn't work on my leg long enough. It's still fine. I can still do moves with it. It's not like he was blatantly using his leg. Like, he kind of used his other offensive maneuvers, but he still, he wasn't really, going crazy over it. But like I said, in my opinion, you shouldn't have to sell your leg in every match. But I don't know. I mean, the match was going along like, this is fine. Okay, this is great. Okay, I'm done. I never felt that rush of adrenaline of holy shit, this match is absolutely drop dead incredible like I felt for El Generico and Ricochet versus Kevin Steen and Akira Tozawa back at All-Star Weekend. In my opinion, this is a much better match than that. That match is a much better match than this one. I will admit, the last 2 minutes of this match are insane. Basically, Kyle O'Reilly and Adam Cole hit a series of maneuvers on Matt Jackson, and Kyle O'Reilly puts Matt Jackson in the guillotine, and everyone's going crazy. And then Nick Jackson comes in to try to break it up, and Adam Cole puts on a guillotine of his own, and the other place just goes insane. Holy shit, are Adam Cole and Kyle O'Reilly really going to win the tag titles? And really, I got that feeling too. I knew the results. I knew the Young Bucks won. But in that scene, I was like, are the reports wrong? Is everybody fooling me? Did Adam Cole and Kyle O'Reilly really win this match? That scene was structured so perfectly, in my opinion. And then the finish I really liked. While the referee's checking out Kyle O'Reilly, Matt Jackson, Nick Jackson throws Adam Cole in the air and kicks him in the nuts. Then he super kicks Kyle O'Reilly, more bang for your buck. It worked. Great match. 4 stars. Kevin Steen, El Generico, this was just insane. This match didn't have a star. I guess these guys, in PWG, they kind of have been feuding. I mean, not as much as in Ring of Honor. They kind of built on. You just have to go in knowing that Kevin Steen and El Generico don't like each other. And at All-Star Weekend, they played it off. They played it off at Bola, obviously. Big time at Bola. And then they played it off a little bit after Rock and Roll Decadence, where El Generico challenged Kevin Steen, and this was the match. It's not like Chris Hero and Human Tornado, where the big grudge match was because of the PWG stuff. I mean, these guys have been feuding in PWG for most of the year, but it wasn't ladder match worthy. It was more based on the Ring of Honor stuff, and they admitted that. They said, if you know the feud, the history between Kevin Steen and El Generico, these guys hate each other. And but this match was insane. The near falls were just incredible. I marked out several times. I think 10 different times in this match. It was just ridiculous. They were just doing near fall after near fall. It was amazing, in my opinion. In my opinion, this match quality was just as good as their match in Ring of Honor. But in my opinion, their back history on the Ring of Honor match makes the Ring of Honor match the better match. But I still thought, I would give this a high 4.5 stars. PWG match of the year, easily, in my opinion. I would probably put this in my top 5 matches of the year. I still don't know where it ranks. I still have to see Eddie Edwards and Roderick Strong from Death Before Dishonor on DVD. I have the DVD right here, so I'll check that out. But this match was insane. An insane finish to an amazing show. The last 3 matches are all awesome. And matches 3 through 5 are all really good. 2 of those matches are near 4 stars, and 2 good matches. This show is just almost perfect, in my opinion. There's a little bit of everything. You want tremendous tag team wrestling. I mean, come on, the Taylor Boys, RockNES Monsters, Dynasty Luchas, Young Bucks, Colorado. This is the show for you. You want a brutal grudge match? This is the show for you. You want a very technical back and forth match? Rocky Romero, TJ Perkins is for you. You wanted just a very nice exchange, cool breeze of near falls. Ricochet, Chuck Taylor's here for you. You want a teacher versus student storyline, even though Willie Mack isn't really a student of Davey Richards, more like a veteran versus young guy storyline. That matches for you. This show is something for everybody. And that's why I think I'm giving it a 9.5. That's why, in my opinion, it's better than the Money in the Bank. Money in the Bank, I don't think really had that something for everybody feel. I mean, it had ladder matches, and it had a great main event. But also with this show, I don't really have any complaints about the great matches. Like, Ricochet Chuck Taylor, the last few matches, I'm like, okay, that's fine. For Money in the Bank, there were some complaints of both ladder matches because they're ladder matches. You know, there were complaints about the Cena Punk match being botchy. Cena Punk is better than Steen Generico, that's for sure. But this show, in my opinion, is a lot funner to watch. It's a lot easier to sit through. It's a lot more enjoyable. And there's something for everybody. It has a very consistent card. Whereas for Money in the Bank, the card, it was a 6-match card, and 2 of the matches weren't very good. It wasn't really consistent. This card's consistent, which is why I would probably give this a 9.5, 9.75. Haven't decided yet. Probably 9.75, really. This is the best show of the year, without question. If you're going to vote in the Wrestling Observer Newsletter Awards for Show of the Year, please watch this show before you automatically send in your vote for Money in the Bank. Just watch this show. So, yeah, this show is insane. This might be the best PWG show I've ever seen. I really have to look back. Garrett's Silent Frontiers was pretty awesome, too. But this show might just top that. I don't know. I'd have to check. So maybe the best PWG show of all time. Maybe the best PWG match of all time. Again, I'm not too sure about that either. But we'll see. Anyways, this show is amazing. PWG deserves your money. The show tonight, Fear, also looks to be ridiculous. That show also looks to be a possible show of the year candidate. So support PWG, ladies and gentlemen, because this company deserves your money. All right, Chikara Cibernetico. Not really much I could say about the show. I thought it was a great show. But from a storyline perspective, I mean, what's it called? High Noon was the next day, so there wasn't really a lot you could do on this show. But for what they did, I thought they put on one hell of a show. The reason that the show gets an 8 is because, in my opinion, Cibernetico is sold as a one-match show. In fact, I don't think that's an opinion. I think that's fact. Every year it's sold as a one-match show, so I feel I should grade it as a one-match show. And for this show, as long as the undercard can remain a lot of fun, it will get a good rating. And in my opinion, it did. Fightin and Generico was a really, really fun match. I wouldn't call it great like I know some people have, but I still thought it was really enjoyable. Fightin, I've said this for a long time, he's one of the most underrated wrestlers in the Indies today. I've said for a long time, but I think he's one of the better singles guys out there. And he proved it. Jigsaw Grizzly River was the only match that I was like, bleh. It was still okay. 3.0 Bravados, that was a lot of fun. I'm a big 3.0 fan. And the Bravados, they really fit well into Chikara. More than any other tag team in Ring of Honor, I thought they would make the best fit in Chikara because of their goofy grandmother style. And I thought it worked here. They built up the grandmother stuff, and it was really enjoyable. So 3 stars for them. Darkness Crabtree Steeds, Eternal Weiner. This was more to build up the Icarus versus Greg Iron match. And also tell a great story by Steve Weiner and his promo earlier in the show. It was a good segment. I'm just going to rate it as good segment. So, yeah. Fire Ant Chuck Taylor was a good match. Tornado Cibernetico, this was great in my opinion, but I will say this, it was great just because I'm a big Cibernetico fan, and just because this show, I thought, the main event, I thought told a lot of great individual stories, like Tim Donst stealing the pin from O'Barion, that will build to something, Sarah Del Rey eliminating almost everybody in the match. I'm not going to ruin who wins, but it worked in my opinion. The storylines they told were great. The Green Ant, obviously, and Tauruses were having conflicts. The stories they told were great, but I will say this, if you are not a Cibernetico fan, you might not like this match. I would not recommend this match to be the match to start off with. Watch this match if you've already seen previous Cibernetico matches. Like me and True Slayer, we were talking about this on Twitter. We both really, really enjoyed this match, so we're going to think it's great every time. But if you've never seen this match before, this should not be your first start. But it still was, in my opinion, great. It still was. I really liked all the guys involved. I had a lot of fun with it. And like I said, the key to this match is telling the individual self-contained stories in this match. And I thought this did that. So, 4 stars for them. And, show gets an 8. Like I said, it's built as a one-match show. But if the one match delivers and the undercard is good enough, and it had one of the better wrestling openers of the year, the undercard was solid in my opinion. There was a bunch of good matches, a bunch of good segments, a great opener. It was a lot of fun. It was everything made in Flight of the Condor was not. It was a lot of fun and had a great main event. That's what your car show should be. So 8 out of 10. You Shoot with Danny Doring, I thought was really good, really funny. Kind of undersold though. I thought the it's built a lot about his hate for the Jersey. If you watch the preview, it's built a lot about his hate with the Jersey Shore, but you don't really see, you see like 2 minutes of it in the whole thing. That's not really what it's about. He has some funny stories and all. He sounds like a cool guy, so I didn't have a problem with his interview. You-Shoot with Perry Saturn I thought was awesome. Awesome. Probably the best You-Shoot they've ever done. Just has a great story. He has a million hilarious stories with Raven. And yeah, he has a lot of good things to tell. So yeah, his thing was amazing. His story about how he got back into pro wrestling and his drug problems, this was just awesome. Probably my favorite You-Shoot ever. And finally, the Ring of Honor TV show. Let me say this. I don't want to go episode by episode. If you want a brief recap, episode 3 had a great main event. Episode 4 had fun matches. Episode 5 had the best Mike Bennett match I've ever seen. Episode 6 is, in my opinion, the best episode they've ever done. With the Roderick Strong O'Reilly match and the Briscoes All Night Express match. I just felt that the way they constructed... I also think that's the show where Steen does a lawsuit. The way that show's constructed, it just works really well. It flows very nicely. There's a lot of good stuff into it. That episode's the best one. If you only want to check one episode out, check out episode 6. Episode 7 was maybe the weakest one in my opinion. Let me say this. The main event was not bad. Some people said it was bad. I thought it was okay. And I thought it was only 13 minutes. It was a TV match. I don't get why people are so upset about it. And then the next episode, because I didn't see these week by week. I saw these all in one sitting, except for the last 2 episodes. But the rest I saw all in one sitting. And the very next episode was the Young Bucks versus the Bravado Brothers. And that match was 5 minutes long. And that match was better. That's when I got angry at the other match. Because Charlie and Shelton had 13 minutes with a really good team, and that's the best they can do. Young Bucks and Bravados got 5 minutes, and they put on a better match. I don't care if the Young Bucks match was built more around high spots. In 5 minutes, they did a better match than Charlie and Shelton could in 13 minutes. If that doesn't comment on Charlie and Shelton's tag champs, I don't know what does. I think they're fine as a Ring of Honor tag team. I really do. I think they're great as a wrestling tag team, as a Ring of Honor tag team. I think they're fine. As champions, they're not the best choice. I personally want the All Night Express to win. In fact, I'm actually wearing the All Night Express t-shirt that I got from Ring of Honor's Black Friday sale. In my opinion, I want the All Night Express to win so bad that I actually wouldn't mind if Charlie and Shelton if Charlie and Shelton beat the Briscoes in the final battle. I know a lot of people are saying, oh, if they don't beat the Briscoes, Ring of Honor's bullshit. They get the belts off them. I mean, they need to lose to the Briscoes is what they're saying. They need to lose to the Briscoes. In my opinion, I want Rhett and Kenny to win the belts so bad that if the World's Greatest Tag Team beat the Briscoes, I'll be okay with it. Personally, I still want them to lose to the Briscoes just because I don't want them to be champions, and the Briscoes make great champions. But if they beat the Briscoes, that means they're going to lose to the All Night Express next, hopefully. So really, I'm cool if they win a final battle. Wolves House of Truth was a good match. Episode 9, Davey in Colorado was really good, but that whole show just felt kind of pointless. It just felt like there was nothing really going on. Episode 10, the ending to the first match I didn't like. Jay Lethal Generico was fun. Those guys also have good matches. Episode 11, this show was really, really good. The Young Bucks and Future Shock had a good match. A little disappointed that they got only like 9 minutes and Charlie and Shelton got 13. But their match was still a lot of fun. So overall, I'll say the show has gotten a lot better. In my opinion, the wrestling's better. In my opinion, the flow is a million times better. In my opinion, it's just a lot more enjoyable. Everyone just does a really, really good job, and it's a lot of fun. Very good TV show, in my opinion. So, yeah, I also think they're building a final battle really well. I still am not that interested in Eddie Davey 3. I know in the go-home show, they'll probably do something that'll make me be really interested. But as of right now, 2 weeks away, I'm still just not that interested. We'll see. But for the other matches, for Briscoe's World's Greatest Tag Team, which I thought for sure I would not be able to be interested in, I'm interested in. For Mike Bennett, Jimmy Jake, El Generico, Jay Lethal, they've done a really good job of building that. And with Kevin Steen, Steve Corino. In my opinion, the feud of the year is Kevin Steen versus Ring of Honor. That's the feud I'm going to submit to the Wrestling Observer Newsletter Awards. If anyone else is watching that votes, I would submit that as well. Kevin Steen versus Ring of Honor. Just the way they've organized this whole storyline from the beginning of the year to now. Like, they worked us. Early in the year, Kevin Steen was doing these interviews of how sad he felt, how upset he was, how Ring of Honor was his home, and he was sad to have been released. And you really felt for him because it was like, man, this is some true shit. They just released him. It sucks. And then Best in the World, when he wanted to return, his storyline was carrying over. his storyline of earlier in the year of how he was so sympathetic, it carried over to kayfabe in Ring of Honor. And that's where a lot of people got behind it. And then he turned. And then on the internet, there was a lot more criticism about Kevin Steen. Like a lot of guys saying how he was hard to work with in real life. And then you realize, wow, man, I guess they really didn't like Kevin Steen. I guess that was like a one-time shot. And then the way the whole storylines flowed, like, they worked me. They really, really worked me. They really made me believe that there was a lot of problems between Kevin Steen and Ring of Honor. But in reality, I think what happened is they fired Steen. I think they did want to let him go because they needed to let someone go for a little bit. But I think their plan was to always bring him back and to always do the storyline. And they worked me. Internet fans don't really get work nowadays. I think Ring of Honor did, because I remember in December, January, when he was released, there was a lot of heavy criticism on Ring of Honor. I think this was their plan from the start, and they definitely got me. So, really into that match. So yeah, the show's really great. PWG has had an awesome year. Check out all the shows I recommended, and get Cibernetico. If you are a Cibernetico fan, you will enjoy that match. If you've never seen Cibernetico before, I would get last year's Cibernetico. But that's it for me. I'm Big Red 310. I promise to keep these videos out rolling more often, and I'm out. Goodbye.